Hi guys, we're the Heiligs and we are here in episode 4 and we're going to talk about the next crazy step in this journey, which is Diana. Actually, her body, her blood pressure did not go down after delivery like it was supposed to, and her blood pressure started increasing. And I'll never forget, Dr. Antonio came in, but then also had 2 more doctors with him, and they said that, hey, look, we've got to do CAT scans. We don't know exactly what's happening. You were distended. Remember your
Oh yeah, I terrible gas, like unimaginable gas pains that would not escape. It was just trapped.
Yeah, and that was super uncomfortable.
Horrible.
So they ended up taking Diana to do a CAT scan, and this doctor came in and told her that things are not good. Things are bad, and we had to admit her into the ICU. You were distended, water on the lungs. All her organs were inflamed, swollen. It was just not a good scene.
Yeah, and the high blood pressure.
Pressure. And so they said, look, we need to immediately release the gas.
Yeah.
And so they were going to put a tube down your throat.
Yeah, the NG tube.
Or down in your nose.
In your nose, yeah, that becomes, and I just refused that. I was like, no way, that's not gonna happen.
Guys, she was in rare form, like.
I really was.
I mean, wait until you read this part in the book, it's insane. Like, you just go like, wow.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is too, you know, every day being in that hospital, it was $1,000 a day for Grayson to be there.
Yeah.
And then whatever it was for me. And so we were freaking out because, you know, we knew that me going into ICU would probably be double whatever, you know, be to pay for Grayson. And, you know, you hear all these horror stories from other people. We were actually in the hospital at the same time we had heard someone else's story.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was another couple that had a preemie who were from Michigan, so the Midwest.
Yeah.
And they were
made to pay, like, it was in the paper that they were held hostage and made to pay all this money before they would release them. So we had just heard this, so I'm freaking out, going, they're just wanting more money, you know. I'm, you know, and I was probably a little loopy from the drugs and stuff. But I was just like, I'm not going. Like, I feel fine. I actually kept telling my doctor, if you just let me go home, I can get better at home.
And they're like, no. Her doctor was like, it's pretty much out of my hands. I deal with babies, and these are the experts. We had the head of the ICU, the head doctor there.
Yeah.
And we had intestine doctor. I don't know what they call him.
Yeah.
And they were like, look, this is really not, you don't really have an option.
Yeah.
But Diana was like, not having it.
I was like, I'm not going. So my doctor was like, you can stay here for another night, but tomorrow, if your blood pressure isn't better, if these other things aren't better, you need to go. And I just remember, like, your mom coming to me and being like, Dee, these people, they are serious. They know what they're talking about. and she's like, you need to go.
Yeah, it was like, wow.
And so
she was
I
very
stayed
resistant.
one more night, and then the next day they admitted me, and the head of the ICU doctor was basically having me sign, you know, that I was going to have this NG tube. And I looked at him and I said, I'm not doing that. You're a good doctor, and I know that. So you need to find another way.
Oh my God. He was like, what? You know?
I just knew that if that were to happen to me, that I would be, something would happen, and it would be so dramatic. I would be choking or something.
You have to understand the context. So Diana, you can't put eye drops in her eyes.
I can't even do eye drops.
The eye doctor cannot open her eye to put the drops in. She does something, and the doctors are like, I've really never seen this before.
No, it's the thing where they.
Oh, the thing where they.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Anyway,
The NG tube
it was
not
happening.
happening.
It was not going to happen.
So she made them figure out another way, and I mean, she was walking around, and it was just nuts. Like, because you had to fart, right? You had to like, right? You had to like get it out.
Basically,
You had to poop.
Yeah.
Basically. Anyway, it was a mess. It was a total mess.
Pretty messy.
And so she ended up going into the ICU. Now, mind you, she had not seen Grayson yet, and I'm sitting there. I'll never forget. I'm in the hallway. They're on the same floor, and I'm sitting there looking down the hallway, seeing Grayson's room on the right, and Diana's to the left of me. And I'm like, what is happening to my world? My whole life is in the friggin' ICU. And it was just like I was completely helpless. And I just thought, man, I don't know, who do I go to first? What do I do? It was a mess.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
And, and the visiting hours were crazy,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The visiting hours for the NICU was only 3 times a day we could visit.
For 1 hour each
For
time.
1 hour each time. I hadn't seen Grayson by this point, but
No.
I think I had hours too.
You had hours too, which were kind of opposite. So it was like, I can never go home because I can't miss my window.
Yeah.
We never know if those 3 hours for Grayson could even happen.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was like, you can't come in. I'm like, okay, but I'm here to see my baby. Can't come in. And so it was just a real confusing mess, and nobody speaks English at all.
Yeah.
As far as like when you get above very basic English from the nurses, once you get to the doctors, it was like 100% Spanish. The medical Spanish is completely different than anything we'd ever heard. So we really had no idea.
The ICU doctor had great English.
Oh, the head of the ICU?
Yeah,
For sure.
he
He
had
did.
great
That's
English.
true.
But when I finally got to the ICU, I noticed my breasts were hurting so bad. They were like rocks, and I was like, what's going on? And I was trying to communicate with the nurse there that they were hurting, and she was like, pump, and I was like, what? And I think at the same time I was messaging my friend, and she was like, oh my God, you need to pump, Diana. You have milk like that's coming. And I was like, what? Because
It didn't occur to us.
even occur to me. I'm like, at 26 weeks, like this, I can still do this? Like, what's happening? So the nurse finally gets me a pump. It was like hours later. And it was like a dinosaur pump. I mean, I don't even know if they make these. It was glass with like a bulb on the end that you just like, you squeezed it and then you put it on and then you opened it and it would just... And I was so excited to be getting anything, but then realized from my doctor, you can't give it to Grayson because I was on so many medications. And then Brian finally brought me a proper one that we had bought.
Yeah. What a mess. It was a total mess.
It was crazy.
We just didn't know, and we couldn't communicate, and it was like, we never had a baby before, so we didn't know what the heck we were doing, and this is obviously not a typical situation.
And at this point, we hadn't told everybody what was happening.
I mean, certain people knew, but...
Yeah, very close, certain people.
This is like 2 days after Grayson's was delivered.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a lot going on, and it was very chaotic. The book will go into much greater detail about all the specifics, but we just, in these episodes, we just want to give you kind of some of the highlights along the way, which breaks down our long 23-minute video that we made originally. So, hey guys, we love you. We love your support. If you are wanting to continue on this journey, please subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications, and we'll be coming soon with episode 5, 6, and beyond.
Yep.
All right.
See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.